Hello, and welcome to season 3, episode 10 of Quaint and Cozy KC. I am your host, Lainey Renee. I am here to talk about all the quaint and cozy things that are going on in the Kansas City area and beyond. And as you know, I just got back from my Vermont trip and I was debating do I do a whole episode on Vermont? Do I add it into this episode just getting back? And I decided because there were some things that I did before I left that I want to talk about. I don't want to, talk about some June stuff in August, although, if I have to do it, I will. But I decided, you know what? Let's just go ahead and talk about these things and keep it current. And then my next episode, I'll talk about Vermont. I'll do a whole show dedicated to my Vermont experience. And then I have another podcast, Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. So I'll do like maybe a crossover thing where I kind of talk about the things that I did and then the food that I ate and all that stuff. So, but not this episode. This episode, I'm going to keep it to Kansas City. Now, before I left Kansas City, I went to the Strawberry Hill Museum. So I'll start off with that. I went to the Strawberry Hill Museum, and it's in the Strawberry Hill district in Kansas City, Kansas, which isn't very far. Like you can see downtown from it. It's like kind of like in this really cool angle where when I was kind of trying to take pictures of the skyscrapers downtown. But so I had gone to a meetup group, Kansas City Cork and Fork, and they do food. We meet up at restaurants, all that stuff. It's a great meetup group. And so they were having something at Slaps Barbecue, and then across we went to the Strawberry Hill Brewery, brewing company, and I was like, you know what? And then there was a split log. I went there and I reviewed all that stuff. It's on my Aunt Lainey's Kitchen podcast. It's going to be coming out on KKFI, and so I did all that stuff. But I also before I started that, I got to the district, Strawberry Hill district, like probably an hour before everybody else did for my group. So I just started walking around and taking pictures. So the vibe of Strawberry Hill is that I feel like for myself, this is the place that I would go to for, I would start off my morning, like do like 9 a.m. kind of thing, hang out at the coffee shop at Split Log Coffee Shop, which is across the street from Slaps. They have a rooftop and they have a drive-through too. So I would probably start off there, and then I would look at lunch options at Slaps and the Strawberry Hill Brewing Company. They don't serve food there, but a lot of people from Slaps bring their food over there and get drinks and all that other good stuff. And then there's some cute little avenues to kind of explore. But that's kind of what I would do. And then after I did all that, I would book ahead of time. I would book a tour with the Strawberry Hill Museum. Now, what you're going to see is what I really appreciated about that is that they have somebody with you. It's a guided tour. Now, not all of the museums really require a guided tour, but I feel like this one does because it's so much the history of Kansas City and the immigrant story. It's kind of like the lens of the different groups that were Catholic that came to Kansas City. So you've got Latin American countries, you've got European countries coming here. And so it's very interesting to kind of hear some of the narratives there and to like learn about the history. And our tour guide was someone who had actually gone to the Catholic school back in the day. So that was kind of cool. And then you just really learn about the school's history. And then you also learn about like the neighborhood history. And I also found out that they have like during Christmas time, all the different nationalities come and they decorate a Christmas tree in their like kind of designated rooms. Like there was a room for the Ukraine that kind of represented like Ukrainian. Then there was one for Finland, and then there was one for I believe it was I want to say that there was Russia that was there, like all these different Poland, all these different European countries. And so that was kind of cool to kind of see all that. And so I'm excited for Christmas. I'm definitely gonna want to book my ticket to do that. And there's a lot of climbing in this tour. So if you aren't good at climbing or if that's not something you want to do, you got to keep that in mind. Before you do this tour, there's a lot of walking and climbing and all that stuff. One suggestion I would have if they don't already have it, because I'm not sure, but I would suggest that they might do like some kind of virtual tour package. For people as well. Something I don't know how like technically they would do all that, but getting some kind of like virtual tour would be kind of cool as well, and that would kind of help people that aren't able to climb the stairs and do all the walking. But it was a great tour, and I'm glad that I wore my comfortable shoes there. And then outside of the museum, there's just great places to take pictures. I took a lot of photos as I am wont to do. I took a lot of photos of the outside of the museum because it was gorgeous. They had like a nice kind of landscaping, and then there's a little park, and then there looks like there's some kind of bluff or something. And so I took a lot of pictures of those as well. And so I really kind of, and again, if you go to my Quaint and Cozy KC Facebook page, you'll see I did a full album. Like I did a full, all these pictures of the Strawberry Hill Museum and just kind of like around, because there's really cool architecture, also some nice landscaping there. They have the stained glass windows. You know, I love a good stained glass window. Like I will stop everything for a picture of a stained glass window. That and wildflowers. Those are the ways, to catch my eye. And they have a cute little gift shop as well. I really did appreciate their gift shop. It was really kind of cute and quaint. So this definitely is, you can make a whole day of going to Strawberry Hill. Like I said, with this museum, you want to book in advance, and that tour is about 90 minutes. So it's not going to be like a little 45-minute thing. It's about 90 minutes. So it's something where you can make a day of it. And I think my tour was at 2:30, but you can get an earlier tour. I think it depends on when you book. So if you're someone who probably wants to do something more like at 1 o'clock, that's a better kind of thing for you. Like maybe right after lunch, you want to kind of keep walking around and everything. So I would definitely suggest, doing that, but you have to book ahead of time. Just FYI, you want to book ahead of time for these tours. So definitely would go again. Now I am back. I'm back in the Waldo neighborhood and on the Missouri side. And so let's talk about the Waldo's Farmers Market. Now I know that years ago there was a farmers market, and there was a farmers market, and unfortunately it did have to close. Well, they're bringing it back, okay? And this one is sponsored by the Three Trails Community Church. And it's located on 7735 Main Street. So that's where the church is. It's in the church parking lot. This is what I will say. I will say I love these types of farmers markets, and it's on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I love these types because these are the types of farmers markets where it's like an extension of your grocery shopping. It's not necessarily an event kind of thing where you're like, kind of how like if you go to the Overland Park one, or the city market, or even historic downtown Liberty. Yeah, they have come up in the past few years. Like it's not necessarily like an event kind of a feel there. It's more like, oh hey, I got to pick up some groceries. Let's start off at the farmers market. So when I was there, I went, and they had some great blueberries and some cucumbers, and they had peaches, and they had some really good looking zucchini. I did buy the blueberries. I didn't buy the cucumbers, looked really good, but I'm kind of burnt out on cucumbers a little bit. So I was like, I don't want to have to like stress myself out and trying to figure out, what I'm going to do with this cucumber. I feel like I've done everything. I haven't made a good gazpacho this year, but I want to kind of wait till it gets a little bit hotter outside. But anyway, so they had that, and then there was somebody that was build like he builds greenhouses. Now I believe that I have posted on, maybe I made a reel of it, maybe I haven't yet in my mind, maybe I did, but I will definitely post these on my Facebook page so you can see where everything is, and I'm going to like link as many of the links I can find in the show notes of this, of the vendors that were there. Then there was also somebody, Marlowe's. They make this really just delicious kind of barbecue sauce situation. It was really good, and they let you try it. It was so, oh my gosh, it was so good. It had this nice smokiness. It's the kind of sauce that I would put on. I know this is not my food show or whatever, but it's the kind of sauce that I would put on pork, chicken. It's a nice dipping sauce for fries. Probably if you want to be super country grandma, I'd dip some potato chips and some tighter chips in there. I'd probably dip some in there. So it's pretty good. It's called Marlowe's. They do sell, like they do ship, I believe they said. And again, I will post that link in the show notes. And then also there was a lady making jewelry, and just a beautiful, like the jewelry was beautiful. It was it looks really, really good. And I just want to make sure, I'm trying to see if I can find her sign here, Infinite Beauty. And I believe she is on Facebook as Infinite Beauty HJDS. And so the jewelry was gorgeous. It was nice. It was accessible. Sometimes I go to these farmers markets and the jewelry is so beautiful. I'm like, where am I going to wear that to? That's like event jewelry. I know people say wear it every day, no matter what. But if I'm in a professional Zoom call, I can't have, like rhinestones just dripping down my ear. Yeah, I can't do all that. But I thought that her jewelry was good for like kind of like casually elegant. So especially for the summertime, I feel like summertime is a casually elegant time for me. And so I saw these beautiful earrings and I saw beautiful rings and of just it's really nice things to look at. Then there were florists that were there, and what I really appreciated about their floral arrangements, they were nice and they weren't over the top. And again, I love all things over the top, but I loved what I really appreciated about these flowers is that these are like everyday flowers. Like, hey, I was thinking of you flowers. They were the kind that work, I feel like, for most occasions. And they have flowers that are pretty easy to maintain as well if you're someone who likes to try to keep the flowers going for as long as possible because they're beautiful. But yeah, they have this nice wildflower kind of arrangement, and they are Bella blooms, and they're locally grown flowers. And so today they had lilies and daisies, and they do things seasonally, it looks like. So that's good. And then I also went and I there was a man and he does Galaxy Drip and he like does these straight like these spray paintings of pictures. And I mean, he's on Instagram at Galaxy Drip. And I kind of I was like, oh my gosh, what's your secret? Because anytime I'm out here trying to spray paint anything, it gets smeary. And then he kind of told me, well, you have to wait for it to dry. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not patient enough for that. So, but yeah, it was nice. I talked to each and every one of them. And then there was a lady that crocheted. And Tori Common, uh, I think it's Cawman Crafts, and everything was crocheted and it was beautiful. Like she had crocheted hats that you could wear kind of like to the beach and wear anywhere, and it's crochet and it kind of keeps the sun off you, and they fold. They're mobile because you might not want to wear the hat all day. It might be because, oh wow, I'm on the patio. I'm sitting in the sunny spot. I kind of don't want the sun on my face. Perfect for that. Kind of grab that out of your handbag. There you go. And then she kind of had these crocheted kind of toys, these little crocheted stuffies. And remember, crochet is like you can kind of like ball it down and like pack it like that. So it's very easy like to kind of they're very friendly for those on the go. But yes, she had some beautiful crocheted items. Then I went to Dixon's Lemonade. Now they haven't been doing this for very long, but it looked really good. And I probably would have gotten some lemonade had I not, already like chugged down a lot of like cherry limeade before I got there. So, but I definitely, and they're going to be in Platte City, I believe, they're doing events in Raytown, Platte City. And so I'm really excited to try them because I mean, it looked really, really good. They had a really professional looking operation. And yeah, and they had like a candy topper. I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like I was 10 years old again. I think they're also going to be doing the Parkville Farmers Market as well. And so that's kind of exciting. And so that I believe that's it. And then I want to say that the fruit came from Breckner's Farms. So, they're pretty popular they're a pretty popular farmer here. Like I see, there's a lot of people that use their produce and it's delicious. And so that was kind of like just to kind of give you a glimpse. Like that was the Waldo Farmers Market. And I was talking to them. I'm like, so because farmers market like the smaller ones, it's either feast or famine. And they were saying like, hey, when it's weather dependent. I'm like, well, that's good because it was a nice day today. So hopefully after I left, because people are kind of starting to kind of come around because it was like, I think I got there around 10 a.m. People are kind of starting to like, come out and everything. And they said that when it's raining, it's not as popular, obviously, because it's an outdoor market. But, when it's nice outside, they get a lot of people. And so it was good to see, that they're trying to bring back a farmer's market in Waldo because I think it's a great, it's and where it's located, there's parking, right? I mean, you want to be mindful because it's a neighborhood, so be mindful how you park and everything. But I think it works because it's not an event-based farmers market. It is like for the products. You want to talk to people, catch up with people, but really it's the products. You're going to buy the products. So I think that's, really important to kind of remember that that's the kind of farmers market it is. It's an extension of your local shopping versus being an event. Well, although, to me, I was hyped up to go. Um, but yeah, you're not going to see like clowns dancing around or anything like that. It's basically like, it's a market with not and they don't have entertainment at this time. Now that could change, still early in the season, but at this time they don't have any entertainment that I saw. Okay, Pleasant Valley Park. Um, they Pleasant Valley Park is in the Northland, and I pass this park all the time, going to 435, and I was like, you know what? And I kind of had gone to the recycling. They have like a little recycling center thing there. I kind of gone to that a couple times, but I was like, I'd never really, paid attention to the park. Well, it's a park where I believe there it's like softball, baseball, like they have like the baseball fields out there and everything. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just explore this park a little bit. And they have a skate park out there as well. I wouldn't have taken pictures of the skate park, but then kids showed up and I'm like, I'm not taking pictures of kids and putting them on the internet. I'm just not going to do that. But I mean, it's a cute little skate park and they have like this little track around the skate park that you can kind of like, if you got your kids skateboarding, then you can kind of walk around the little track as they skateboard and you can kind of keep an eye on them. And so then I went to one side of it, and that's kind of where the skate park was. Then I went to kind of on the other side because there's like a ballpark there, but then there's more kind of like more of a field situation and like looks like some kind of road on like a roadway or something. So I went and I took pictures over there. And again, it was a light kind of glimpse. I didn't go all the way, down and do that stuff because it was getting hot outside, A, and B, I wasn't didn't have like the tennis shoes on. I had some espadrilles, but I didn't have like exploring shoes on. So I kind of did what I could, and that's Pleasant Valley Park. And this is the kind of place where obviously you would go to watch like a ball game, but also I looked, and there's some spots where now I don't picnic on the ground, okay? But it looks like there's some spots where you could set up like your own little picnic thing. These days, I mean, when I picnic, I bring my card table and like, folding chairs and stuff like that. So it's a kind of cool place like that. Or if you had some chairs and you wanted to kind of do like like a coffee table situation and put the food on there like that, it's that. Like it's kind of like you kind of sit out there and chill for a little bit, go to the park, chill for a little bit. So it's that kind of vibe there. Okay. Now I was like looking at other places to go and I had to air up my tires because my tires were too low. I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, okay, am I gonna try to like stretch it out and try to run and do like another museum, or am I just gonna kind of like, come back and regroup? So I decided to regroup today and get everything together, do all the laundry, all the cooking that you kind of miss out on when you are like on vacation, right? And so, but here are some things I'm looking forward to. So there's a museum, Grinter Place State Historic Site, and that's in Kansas City, Kansas. So that's on my list. That's upcoming. Then there's the Thomas Hart Benton Home and Studio Historic Site. I'm looking forward to that as well. Then the Museum of Barbecue, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit on here because again, when you have a podcast that deals with food, then you have a podcast that deals with like being out and about. You kind of like, sometimes things have to get blurred. But it is technically a museum before anything. So I feel like I've got to bring it over to the Quaint and Cozy KC side. Then there's the Bruce R. Watkins Museum. I haven't been there either. Looking at that. And then there's the Harris Kearney Historical House Museum that I want to check out as well. So those are kind of like the upcoming things that I'm looking forward to. And again, there's more things to look forward to. I think I'm going to be going to a winery, I think this month at some point, weather permitting, another winery. And then I was also thinking kind of like to end the show, I'm like, what I want to give everyone homework because people always talk to me about, and I think I alluded to it in my last episode about, gosh, I'm just trying to keep this Quaint and Cozy KC thing going. I don't want to, fall off. I want to keep exploring and going to new places. And I definitely think it's the categories are what helped me. I'm a farmer's market person. I'm a museum person. There's fountains, there's different libraries to check out. If you're more of a restaurant person, maybe figure out like a certain kind of restaurant. Or I have friends that do coffee shops. That's what they do. Maybe it's parks in your area or state parks or gardens. something like that. And there's always some kind of, I find activity going on. For example, before I started the show, I was looking. So there's a place that I went to, I mean, I want to say it's a couple years ago, KC Strings, and they're kind of in downtown Miriam. And I went to like a string concert a few years ago, like a bassist was playing, and it was really cool. And I have a classical music background, I mean. And so they've got like all of their things for June posted, like right now, like some happenings going on. They have so Lenexa Community Orchestra concert is going to be happening, and that's going to be at Shawnee Mission Northwest High School in Shawnee, Kansas, and that is June 21st at 7 p.m. So that's going to be happening. And then June 21st, also June 21st, 7 p.m. Oh, it's going to be popping. The Lee Summit Symphony, they're going to do a swinging summer at the pavilion at John Knox Village, and that's in Lee Summit, and that's at 7 p.m. And then on Friday the 27th, June 27th, they're going to have a Kansas City Baroque Consortium. And it's kicking off, it looks like their 2025 summer series. This is concert number one. And the location right now is TBD. So, but again, keep an eye on that Kansas City Strings, their blog, because this is where you can find these concerts. And again, I will, excuse me, I will post them in the show notes. Okay, and on that note, it's time for me to go because now I got to gather up all my stuff and my outlines and stuff so I can get ready to talk about Vermont in the next podcast of Quaint and Cozy KC. You can find me at quaintandcozykc.com, Facebook Quaint and Cozy KC, Instagram Quaint and Cozy KC, and the TikTok, the clock app, the tickety tockety. You can find me on there as well for Quaint and Cozy KC. Thanks everyone so much for all your support. And it's really good to be back. And take care, everyone. I will talk to you soon.